Let me tell you a story about how to look through my eyes. You must ask the questions to see what it signifies. The mysteries, the memories. Looking through the flame, the never-ending rain. Comes the noise in my head when the wind blows and the clouds disappear. Soon you'll be walking when the road takes you far from home. Soon you'll be walking. Only when you love something can you understand it. We must find the sacred places on the journey to the truth. Ephemeral mementos, looking through the flame, the never-ending rain. Comes the noise in my head when the wind blows and the clouds disappear. Soon you'll be walking when the road takes you far from home. Soon you'll be walking when the wind blows and the clouds disappear. Soon you'll be walking when the road takes you far from home. Soon you'll be walking. Soon you'll be walking. Soon you'll be walking.
I was beginning a 70-year-long course on the highest level of art education. Why was I chosen? I don't know. Why was this city chosen? That's a thought. It should have been Oxford, Cambridge, Bath. It should have been, well, no, not really Birmingham, not really Manchester. It had to be a city with a castle. A city that could remind you of something, oh yes, miraculous. Salzburg. A city with a castle, unfortunately, on the European continent. And in 1947, if you had thoughts of the European continent, you were thinking of the madness of war. The European continent had been a battlefield, a theatre of war. And 50 million human beings had died. 50 million! The world had never known such a catastrophe. The pain was insufferable. Mental, physical, the pain of loss. The ideal place and time had come for the use of art. The proper use of art. That war was a very Shakespearean experience. It was about the depths of pain and suffering that a human being can endure somehow or another. And so here we have the image of an extraordinary, how can I say, human being. She has decided to remind us of all the journeys of all the artists, maybe I think 45,000. I was trying to count the number over the 70 years that I've brought personally to Edinburgh. Art, on the highest level of achievement, ascends to the condition of prayer. And these names are the names of the artists that you see in this collection. here you have someone called Alan Wood. You have Ian McPinley there. You have George Wiley over here. And some of them are dead. So in a way, it's a kind of litany of souls. Fair breeze, requiem cutting pace.
England, printmaker.
Bill Scott, requiem cutting pace.
Scotland, sculptor.
Jan Bitson, requiem cutting pace.
Romania, avant-gardist.
Horia Bernia, requiem cutting pace.
Romania, avant-gardist.
James Howie, requiem cutting pace.
Scotland, painter.
Stephen McKenna, requiem cutting pace.
Ireland, painter.
Henning Christensen, requiem cutting pace.
Denmark, sculptor.
The Road to Mikkelseggen by Richard DeMarco. To reach Mikkelseggen, you must walk up the Radical Road back into Canongate. Investigate all the royal mile closes and winds. Walk towards the battlements of Edinburgh Castle, to the chapel of St Margaret. Then down the Castle Hill towards Edinburgh's other hills, particularly the Calton Hill with its observatory, and check out the routes which lead towards Craigmillar Castle, past Duddingston village and its Romanesque church, and Duddingston Loch, on the western slopes of Arthur's Seat, which offers a perfect sanctuary to hosts of migrating birds. Search out also the most northerly point of the great pilgrimage route to Compostela, the 15th century chapel of the Earls of Roslin. It is the last flowering of the medieval stonemason's craft. Seek out beside the high altar the apprentice pillar. It has, unlike the other pillars supporting the nave, the spiral energy of a tornado. Explore the vast moorland spaces between the Moorfoot and Pentland Hills around Howgate village. At Crichton Castle, note the 16th century Italianate courtyard built by the Earl of Bothwell. Then move towards the 12-mile long coastline of Edinburgh, from Portobello and Leith towards Granton and Cranmont, where the Romans sent their supply ships to build the Antonine Wall. Walk along the beaches, strewn with white seashells, which mark the northeastern boundary of the Rosebery Estates, and consider why Miss Jean Brodie spent the happiest hours of her prime on this coast, which leads to St. Queensbury. Looking from the windows of the Hawes Inn, from which Robert Louis Stevenson was inspired to write Kidnapped, you will observe the gigantic cantilever forms of the old Forth Bridge, the greatest piece of monumental Victorian ironwork sculpture in Europe.
These words I wrote, I think, in 1973, when I realized that I couldn't go on another day running something called an art gallery, 20th century inventions. It was the same feeling I had when I realized that the Traverse had never been a theatre. It was a combination of the Café de Magot. It was the cafe in Switzerland where the Dadaists had met. It was a place of thought and thinking where the audience could work with the actors. Of course, we had only 59 seats in the theatre, but it had the one thing that was perhaps the centrifugal point. It had a restaurant. and it was open from breakfast time till 2 in the morning. Unthinkable in Edinburgh when everything closed at 10. All the pubs, the whole city closed down. It was a miracle, as the Edinburgh Festival was, in a city dominated by the Protestant ethic. I'll never forget that song by Tom Lehrer where he condemned Boston as a place where you couldn't possibly expect art to flourish. But he'd never been to Edinburgh. Why do we have a castle? It's a protection for the shrine of St. Margaret. Her chapel is there. And nearby is the war memorial for the glorious dead of 2 world wars. We've forgotten that. We've turned the whole thing into a tourist attraction. And I worry, all the time, that the art world has been claimed by the world of tourism. It's a money-making machine, just as tourism is. And a world population persuaded not to think profound thoughts about death, inevitability, but about, how can I say, the magical, wonderful gift that we're given as human beings to be, as Boyce said, to be born as artists. We're all artists. Every primary school child that I ever taught was an artist. At secondary school, of course, things begin to go wrong. And by university level, tertiary level, the thing is inevitably a board. It's now run by not artists, not people who are taking risks, not people who really know that they must use this other language other than the language of, how can I say, the language of bureaucrats, the language of politicians, the language of businessmen. My art is my teaching, the secret relationship between the student and the teacher, where the teacher is taught by the student, is taught by that sacred, whatever, energy flow that comes between two human beings concerned with the passing of knowledge, passing on of knowledge, not information, by the way, wisdom through the use of art language. And she is now representing that. And I can see the names here. They're all written, not in my mind, but on my heart. I'm grateful to them. And the map you see here is the map of the Edinburgh Festival.
Tenders and light, requiem cat in pace, Scotland, painted. Stefan Berger, requiem cat in pace, Germany, avant-gardist. Patricia Duthway, requiem cat in pace, Scotland, painter. Rory McEwen, requiem cat in pace, Scotland, avant-gardist. Fred Stephen, requiem cat in pace, Scotland, sculptor. Margot Sandman, requiem cat in pace, Scotland, painter. Bonnie Abu, requiem cat in pace, Romania, sculptor, avant-gardist. Mario Mas, requiem cat in pace, Italy, avant-gardist. George Wiley, requiem cat in pace, Scotland, sculptor. Patrick tried to replace you. I flew so far. They tried to replace you. I flew so far. I flew so far.
My concern for the road to Nicosia is beyond reason. It was not discovered by a rational, ordered sequence of events. I first sought it out when I decided not to attend a Mozart opera at the Les Lalides Festival, and felt I needed to rethink my apparent need of an art experience. I discovered it as an alternative to art. I wanted a road to nowhere, one I could not find on any map, where I could, on a certain evening, see the western sky in the late evening light. I knew it was the road westwards, although it begins in an easterly direction. I know it would confuse the seeker of that kind of information, which leads inevitably to a place where 20th century man has been before. The very confusion of the signposts, even their existence as crucial points where vital decisions have to be made, cause me to ignore them and to rely on the instinct which obliges me to make landscape drawings. When I'm asked why I see the Edinburgh Arts not as a time and space emphasizing the making of art, but rather as a time for reflection, rediscovery, an opportunity to make art statements which relate directly to Scotland and its cultural heritage stretching far back into history, not trusting an explanation, I tell the story of my discovery of the road to Nicosia. It is the metaphor which explains my need to draw and paint Scottish landscape, and at the same time continue the adventure of Edinburgh Arts.
Those prepared to use the language of art to extend the consciousness of all human beings, to bring their mind, yes, the rational processes of thought, but their heart, their heartbeat, into, how can I say, harmony with the mystery of life. That's why Chekhov wrote what he wrote. That's why Cantor rethought theatre. That's why Joseph Beuys made these extraordinary drawings. And that's why I was born. To be the guardian of something called the Edinburgh Festival, and to see it for the first 40 years or so, maybe 45, I don't know, on the right course, taking me on an adventure, asking me to explore the whole concept of art beyond the limitations of Scottish pantomime or Gilbert and Sullivan operas. That's all I knew. And when I heard that great orchestra, Vienna Philharmonic, for the first time playing since Hitler banned them because there were too many Jews, Jewish musicians, he got rid of them. But being born at the Edinburgh Festival, under the baton of a German conductor. And the music was German. God, my world was changed. And I suddenly saw vast horizons. Actually, no, it wasn't the horizon. I was looking at what Beuys was asking me to look at. And that was the space beyond the horizon. The offing. The offing is what lies beyond what you know, what all rational thought will tell you. And for the first time, of course, the world will probably then discover that the use of language can be beyond the normal use, and suddenly all about the way words come together in Shakespearean terms. Until Shakespeare lived and loved, because he must have been in love with life. we use language properly. This is truly an artist explorer that you're looking at, and that's what an artist explorer looks like. They don't move forward into the unknown, into the offing, unless they are considering the magic of all the artists who've helped them reach that point of exploration. And they're all there in the whole history of theatre, art, poetry. It's the one language we have to be careful about, because we can easily misuse it. And once we start doing that, we start taking seriously the banality of the language of the politician.
Joseph Beuys, Requiem cat in pace. Germany, social sculptor. Tony O'Neill, Requiem cat in pace. Australia, painter. Alan Wood, Requiem cat in pace. England, painter. John Latham, Requiem cat in pace. England, English avant-gardist. Ian Hamilton Finlay, Requiem cat in pace. Scotland, leading exponent of concrete poetry.
What we're looking at now is this image of Iago Pericor. I hope he's still alive. He's in Barcelona. And it's about two lovers kissing. It's a magnificent drawing. And the statement in Spanish is that he is my friend, and friendship leads to love. It's extraordinary. It's in this room. Nobody cares, because visual language is somehow misunderstood. And without visual language, and the language of the medieval morality play, like every man, we don't know what theatre is. We've forgotten. We think it's all about, oh yes, spectacles. It's not. It's about small things like that. It's also, if I look at this, it's about Barbara Palmer. And she reminds me that it could be about that. We all have it in our houses, don't we? We all take the trouble. We all take the trouble to do that with flowers. And when we do that, we are revealing our role as an artist. I'm thinking of all the people I don't want to forget. Physical reality. There is the Dramatic Gallery on the full scale. I hope it included Taiwan. I'd like to do it.
Okay.
Can we do it?
I can't do it from this camera, so we need some art.
Or she could.
So it's like that art to see these letters from Cutaway Shoots.
Did you hear that?
Tell Nesta to bring it down to symposium next spring.
Sure, yeah. Yes,
Try to cut this.
yes. It's a map of,
I know, but it's beautiful. You can
the old place.
You're in the right place.
The old-fashioned